So I was playing this this thing for Students Standing Strong. Some of the people that were there invited me to Centerpoint Church. They asked me to come check it out. My wife and I went to Centerpoint Church, and we sat down, and the first thing that we see is this video of these two people, and they're telling the story of losing their son.
About 3.5 years ago, my wife and daughter and I were out of town in San Antonio, Texas, and the phone rang at 11 o'clock at night in our hotel room. And it was the phone call that all parents dread. My middle son, Jake, and he informed us that our son, Drew, had been in an accident, and in fact had been killed in an accident. Our hearts were broken on the spot, and I stopped Lisa in the middle of the room and I said, we have to pray right now. There's no way we can get through this experience without God. And we prayed in our hotel room in San Antonio, Texas, with our hearts broken, tears in our eyes, and we asked God to just help us. Immediately our family and our church family came along our side and helped us to get better, helped us to fight through the tragedy. And we realized at that point that God was with us in the lowest point in our life.
So I'd been in the music business for about 13 years, and God called me out of all that stuff. I had been drinking. Life had gotten pretty bad, and my wife, who was my girlfriend at the time, was actually taking me back to the apartment, and it's like God reached out and flipped a switch in my head. That night I quit everything, quit drinking, smoking, cussing, dipping, and the music business. Called the people in Nashville, told them I was done, and quit.
4 months after Drew's accident, we were dealing with daily challenges. And Lisa, one particular afternoon, had gone out to the mailbox. There was mail in it for Drew. And her heart was just really aching that day. And she cried out to God and said, do you not understand what I'm going through? She went back in the house, and all of a sudden she felt moved to sit down and wrote the lyrics to Heaven Knows. She describes it as experiencing God. She finished the verses and set that aside and said, that was interesting. And God came to her again and said, you didn't ask me the question that you really wanted to ask me, so go ahead. And she asked the question and wrote another verse. And basically the question was, when am I going to see him again? And the answer was, in a little while.
My wife's grandmother had given us a piano, and I had never played piano before, but I came up with this melody that was an amazing melody, and I really worked very hard at trying to put lyrics together for it, but I couldn't.
6 or so months after Lisa had written her verses, she came to me and asked me if I would help her write a song. I read the lyrics and was just floored by the power and the emotion of what she had written. And I said, I'll try. I'll do the best I can. And I messed with that melody and chord progression for quite some time, but I never really felt what I was doing musically was worthy of the lyrics that she had written.
And I never would have dreamed in a million years, but as time went on, I developed a relationship with Kent. He told me one day after worship, rehearsal was over, he said, I'd like to go have lunch with you. At the end of the conversation, I asked him, Kent, why did you really ask me here? And he pulled out a piece of paper, and he said, Lisa wrote this song. And he said that they had been trying to work on a melody for the song, but they really just couldn't come up with a melody. I left my lunch meeting with Kent. I got in the car and I asked God, what is the melody for the song? God said, it's the melody that you've been working so hard to put lyrics to. So I immediately just got in the car, drove to the house, I put the papers up on the piano, and I played it verbatim, and Heaven Knows.
God was with us in the lowest point in our life, and he led us on a journey that we are still on that journey today.